After what was such a successful night for not just WWE, but Netflix as well, on this past Monday night, with this past Monday night's big debut episode of Raw on Netflix. Both parties ended up benefiting greatly from it. I talked about it in my recap video for the Raw Netflix debut episode. If you haven't checked out that video, I do suggest going and checking that one out and then coming back and watching this one, because there are some stuff in that video that I touch on that I'm probably will not touch on here. That way it kind of gets put together in a way. But in that video, I talked about how all the matches were successful. They were all really, really good matches. And while there were some people that did not like the outcomes of some of them, or whatever it may be, those necessarily didn't bother me. What bothered me was how WWE handled their two biggest names and two of the champions. I'm talking about Cody Rhodes and Gunther. That to me is my biggest issue with the Raw Netflix debut. As two of the top title holders in the company right now, you would have expected a little bit more from them. But the only thing we got from Gunther was a video package, and we only got a run in with Cody Rhodes. We also had the backstage segment between Cody and The Rock, and obviously The Rock acknowledging him and thanking him at the very beginning of the show. It's very obvious at this point that Cody Rhodes is going to be the face of the company for the foreseeable future. It's very clear that WWE wants to make him this era's John Cena, which is why I still just think it's kind of baffling that they hardly did anything with Cody Rhodes, who's the champion of WWE right now. He is the Universal Champion right now. And before I get too far ahead, in no way, shape, or form am I a Cody Rhodes loyalist. Don't get me wrong, I love Cody Rhodes. He's a fantastic worker and I enjoy his work, but I'm not a massive Cody Rhodes fan who thinks that he deserves everything and think nothing about it. But I still just think that your champion should have had a bigger role in the biggest episode of Monday Night Raw ever. When you look at what WWE did with Roman Reigns, for instance, not only did Roman Reigns have a full-on match with Solo Sikoa, but he also had all of the stuff after the fact with The Rock and getting the Ula Fala back, and they really took their sweet time with it. And not to mention, they gave him pretty much an entire WrestleMania-like entrance. Now, again, I'm not saying that Roman Reigns does not deserve it, because he is as big of a face as Cody Rhodes is right now. But Roman Reigns isn't the Universal Champion anymore. Your champion is Cody Rhodes, and you barely did anything with him. And after I thought about it a little bit more, I did come across the idea of maybe it's because he is technically a SmackDown guy. But then, once I thought about that more, Gunther is part of the Monday Night Raw roster, and all he had was a video package. And it's not like the World Heavyweight Championship is a secondary championship in the WWE. Seth Rollins made that title what it is and made it feel like it was just as good than the Universal Championship. And I still do think that Gunther was the right guy to win the World Heavyweight Championship and carry it to different heights. But I just can't help but sit here and think to myself that, did they damage the World Heavyweight Championship at all? Because again, it was a video package. That's all Gunther had. Now, what I would love to see happen from all of this is for WWE to turn it into a storyline. Whether it be for Gunther or for Cody Rhodes, I wish they would turn this into some sort of storyline and just have one of them just wreak havoc on the WWE. It would probably have to be Gunther doing this because, let's be honest, Cody Rhodes is a forever babyface. There's not a chance that he possibly ever turns heel. And something else that I think could work for Gunther is the fact that he is the ring general. He is very much a traditionalist of pro wrestling, and he has talked many times about having respect for the squared circle and what it represents to be in there. And I can guarantee you that he probably doesn't like the fact that there are a bunch of ads in the ring on Monday Night Raw now. While it doesn't necessarily bother me, I know it bothers a lot of you guys out there watching, so maybe they could possibly incorporate that into a storyline for Gunther, but unfortunately, that's all just wishful thinking. I ultimately don't think that anything's going to happen from it, but it would be kind of nice to see a storyline be built from Gunther basically being left off the show and Cody Rhodes kind of the same thing, not really being treated as champions. So this is where I want to hear from you guys. Do you think that Cody Rhodes and Gunther were both kind of mistreated as champions on the debut episode of Raw on Netflix? Do you agree with my takes, and do you wish the same thing in that WWE turns this into a storyline somehow? Because as we know from last year's build to WrestleMania, things can change on the fly in WWE, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. I think it's unlikely, but I'm not going to rule it out completely. Let me know all that stuff down below in the comments, and while you're down there, swing by the description and click the Linktree link. That link will take you to all of the social medias for this channel. And I do suggest going and checking out our X page. Besides YouTube, I am most active over on X. Over on X, I do updates on Monday Night Raw, sometimes Friday Night SmackDown, and sometimes the PLEs. I only say sometimes around this time of year because Fridays and Saturdays just get super busy for me. But I am always available for Monday Night Raws, so more times than not, providing something unforeseen doesn't happen, I will be providing updates on Monday Night Raw. But above all else, I want the X page to be a place for wrestling fans to go and talk about pro wrestling. If the Raw on Netflix debut was any indication on where pro wrestling is heading, wrestling is so back. And while it's great to watch it on your own, it's even better when you have people around you to talk about it. And if you're like me, you don't have a lot of people to talk to about it. So if you are like me and you want to have people to talk to about pro wrestling, swing by an upcoming episode of Monday Night Raw, join in on the conversation, and maybe it's for you at the end of the day. Now that all of that is said and done, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button. Both are free and both help out the channel a lot. And as always, stay tuned for more content coming in the future. We'll see you next time.